come at the king, best not miss.
I know.
Sadly, Michael K. Williams has passed away at the age of 54.
I know. I'm
somebody
really
who,
sad.
as we on the weekend of the 20th anniversary of 9/11 are remembering things that happened 20 years ago. The Wire was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
It was kind of a while ago, and yet I think mostly has stayed in the conversation, despite the fact that HBO steadfastly refused to put Blu-ray copies of the thing out. So like one of my most prized possessions is my 5 DVD sets of The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, now we've got HBO Max. It's a little academic, but despite the fact that its access was limited to HBO reruns, and then HBO Go or whatever they had for a while, and then old DVDs that you get at half-price books, it continued to be part of the conversation.
I think so. I think it still continues. Yeah, probably one of the best HBO shows ever.
Yeah. And an actor who continued to be, part of the conversation as well, appearing as recently as in Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
But of course played Omar on The Wire and was in Boardwalk Empire.
Yes.
Playing Chalky White and had been in a bunch of movies. He was in The Road. Remember that?
No.
Very briefly in The Road. He was a guy who needed some help. And he's like, don't help him because we're on the road. But
that was like most of that movie.
Just
that
a guy who,
just like
one of the reasons I liked his character on Community, because when he played the teacher on Community,
yes, he did,
is that he was just like fine. In fact, he was like in a position of authority, and he didn't have any time for all these crazy kids and their meta hijinks. But normally, he often plays a character who's involved in violence, who's involved in pain and desperation.
Yeah,
and I don't know. There's just something about him where he could be somebody who showed that, but also somebody who retained dignity and power. Despite being their character being on the outs.
Yeah,
and he was somebody who it's just a crazy story. Like he just he grew up in Brooklyn and had a tough Brooklyn upbringing.
Yeah,
his his distinctive facial scar.
Yes.
He got, on his 25th birthday because he's trying to break up a fight outside of a bar.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, and the guy just got him in the face. But despite that, bounced back, was a dancer in music videos, and also landed a film with Tupac in like the mid-90s and just made his way. And somebody who, we hate to talk about this when we're trying to remember him, but I think it's important. I think that he would want us to learn a lesson from his life story. Somebody who struggled with addiction and with drug problems.
And he talked about that a lot.
Yeah, and he talked about it a lot. And in a week where, we lost him and also 3 different comedians all died in California and LA who were at the same party from tainted drugs.
Are you serious?
It's something that we
should be talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's anybody you would know, but
it's still terrible.
Yeah. And the idea is that, or the theory is that they were, doing cocaine that was probably cut with fentanyl.
Great.
So, which is like, so it's like an automatic speedball because fentanyl's like a opioid, right? And then the coke is, you want to be up and being funny at a party.
Yeah.
With the coke.
Right.
But then like, I didn't order this fentanyl.
Yeah, right.
But a lot of supply chains have been disrupted by a lot of different things. And so drugs are finding their way into other stuff. And somebody who is, rich and has a lot of money, has a definite supplier. People, it seems like a lot of drugs, but
what's going on here?
It's a podcast. But people at a mid to lower level are just getting it from wherever they can, and so you don't know where these things were made or put together.
Well, you never really do
No,
you?
Even when you're taking like fentanyl, like pills or something like that, like a factory puts X amount of dose in each one, and somebody who's just doing it in their basement, you don't know what kind of quality control there is, and then suddenly you get something that's got 4 times the fentanyl that you wanted, and then you're in trouble. So,
just way too young to lose him, and he was an amazing actor. I will I mean, I will never forget Omar. I love Omar. Definitely, I mean, so many great characters and great performances in The Wire, but definitely one of my all-time favorites for sure, from that show. If not arguably my favorite. Like, I was so upset when, spoiler for a how many year old show, when he does.
Canard, you little bastard.
Freaking hell, man.
You think people still scream at that
so
kid
pissed.
on the street today? He's an adult.
I would.
People throw things at him.
Yeah, right.
Come up behind him at a convenience store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. Here's my call. Here's my clarion call. Disney, release his solo scenes on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Tweet them out.
Right.
He was in Solo. His part was cut because, of course, the huge reshoots they did on Solo meant that they needed a lot of people back. He was already off doing another project. He was working on a Netflix film.
Right.
So he couldn't come back, so they had to cut his character, release those scenes,
That'd be
give
great.
us more of Mike Williams, and let's just remember him as
That
best
would be awesome. Yeah, do the right thing, Disney.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, as per usual, we begin the show with an RIP, but we move on to PIR, which is pretty intense rhetoric.
Oh,
and it's
Lord.
the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
And we're here to bring all the news that's fit to cast, sometimes sad, in the world of nerdy entertainment.
Often sad, I
And
would say.
often we look back at the past.
Yes.
Like we're doing this weekend.
Yes.
Because it is the 20th anniversary of 9/11, he says in his radio excited voice.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited about it.
But
I can't believe it's been 20 years.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there. We've all lived through it.
Yes, we have.
Think about the 25-year-olds who are like, I don't really remember it.
Yeah, I know.
I just grew up in this
And everybody
hellscape.
who's younger than that.
I don't remember the endless news reports and just watching that plane go into the tower 37 times. I just remember growing up in the aftermath,
which is also weird,
of the Forever War. But let's talk about what we're going to talk about on the eve of that remembrance, and also on the eve of what I think of as the second 9/11, the death of Patrick Swayze.
Oh wow!
Way too young on September 14th in 2009.
Yes.
I was thinking about the movie Red Dawn and how it itself is a meeting of ideologies. It is an examination of this idea of nationalism and, war and fighting back.
Yep.
And it itself is very reminiscent of the idea of Afghanistan, a place that, speaking of anniversaries, we just left after 20 years.
Yep, right.
And so with all these things crossing over in my mind, I said, I'm thinking about Red Dawn. And you said, what's Red Dawn?
Yep.
And then I knew we had to watch Red Dawn and talk about it on the show.
Yep. And that's what happened.
A movie that I think is itself a metaphor for Afghanistan.
Yeah.
A lot of 80s action movies, if they involved army men or something like that, were metaphors for the Russians' invasion of Afghanistan.
Right.
Red Dawn, Rambo 3, and others.
Right.
And the point is that there was no open war in the Cold War, except possibly Korea, I guess. And this was a hot war it's 1979 and then in the 80s.
Yes, right.
So Russia invades Afghanistan, and here's a chance for us to have a proxy war, basically, right? The Russians are trying to take over Afghanistan, which it's like a land war in Asia. At this point, we should just know it's not going to work.
Right.
But it gives us a chance to use all of our cool gadgets and our James Bond stuff that we haven't been able to use because there's no war between America and Russia. We can't handle that. It would be nuclear Armageddon.
Right.
And the movie addresses that. But we can give a bunch of stuff to, this feisty little group called the Mujahideen.
Yeah, right.
Who is going
see what happens.
Yeah, just see what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Just,
and so,
F around and find out.
Yeah. So, here's some Stinger missiles.
Yeah.
So, which they
what's
didn't
the
have
worst
in the
thing
movie.
that could happen? Yeah.
I guess if the Russians don't have Stingers, you can't steal Stingers from the Russians. But the point is, all of these things come together in a little town in Colorado. And that's why we're talking about Red Dawn today. So stay tuned for that. What else is going on in your life?
Oh, God.
Tell me, this camera. Tell us what you got going on in your life. Now imagine your mouth is burning.
Yeah, right.
It's the worst pain you've ever felt.
Uh-huh.
Now picture movie.
What? Pitch my movie?
Or be like Elizabeth, what's her name? And just be like, I'm just loving life and having a good time.
Yeah,
and
right.
2 minutes later, her PA's like, you were supposed to plug the movie.
Gosh, I've been watching the 3rd season of TOS.
What's TOS? Toss?
Toss.
Is
yes.
that like
it's a tossed
celebrity
salad and scrambled eggs.
Well, a celebrity salad making show?
Yeah, that's exactly. No, it's Star Trek The Next Generation, or not The Next Generation. It's
so
the
far, so good.
I can't think,
so
apparently.
So far, so good.
It's the original series, TOS, of Star Trek. And something that I think you actually are going to be talking about relatively soon, or has already
synergy
talked about on Enterprising Individuals.
Yeah.
The 3rd season, which is
yeah.
It's a little bit of a crapshoot because there's a lot of good ideas. Let me start with the positive.
We've all had a show that we really liked.
Yep.
That the plug didn't get pulled, but maybe sort of kicked in the socket.
Yeah.
And it started to fall apart, and we had to sort of like hold this show's hand as it spirals into the abyss. And that's kind of season 3 of TOS.
Well, and then, you find out like some of the behind the scenes stuff that like they didn't have a whole lot of money for the 3rd season. And then with that knowledge, going through the episodes, you're like, oh, okay. There is not a whole lot of scenes with the crew on this episode, so they're saving money there. Or, this week they're getting attacked by a bunch of lights, so they're saving money there. You just start seeing that. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it still. I do, but they're not some of. I think there still have been some good episodes mixed in, but sometimes it's like, oh, it's another planet. There's something we can't explain. We're going to go down and explore,
Yeah.
So it just seems like, I feel like they were trying to be creative with what they had, but a lot of things were stacked against them.
It's really an amazing story when you think about the fact that Gene Roddenberry, D.C. Fontana, Gene Kuhn, John Meredith Lucas, who else? Well, D.F. Black left in the 1st season, but like a lot of the creative minds who made Star Trek what it was and came up with all of that stuff were gone at this point, either through other jobs, frustrations with the production, or trying to create a new show. Gene Roddenberry basically bailed on the 3rd season of his show because it was, forget the bubble, like the bubble popped, like it was dead. There was no way this show was coming back. Unless, John F. Kennedy came back from the dead and said, it's pretty good. So this show was gone. So he left. And then also they brought on a new guy to run the show and also a new guy to be the story or the script editor.
Okay.
And what that means is that he's like the editor-in-chief of like, comics or something like that. Everything goes through him.
Okay, sure.
So you've got a cool idea, he thumbs up or thumbs down.
Right.
When you send him your script, he reads it and rewrites the things that he doesn't like.
Right.
And a lot of people think that guy, who didn't have a lot of sci-fi experience, was not really cut out to do that job. Despite all that, you get a season that's got the Enterprise incident. Mm-hmm. I was going to say Spock's brain, but hey, who cares? Spock's brain.
People hate on that episode. I don't think it's like the worst episode.
No.
I've seen worse. I'm sorry.
The Cloud Minders, which is a very interesting, if somewhat blunted, commentary on capitalism or commercialism and corporatism. You get a bunch of episodes, and you get a lot of things that. And the person I spoke to for this upcoming imminent episode, a guy named Darren Mooney, who writes and YouTubes for The Escapist, made the point that a lot of the things that people think about when they think about Star Trek come from the 3rd episode.
Or
Kirk trying to sleep.
The 3rd episode?
Or season.
Oh, 3rd season. Okay.
3rd episode is Mud's women? What is the third episode?
I don't know, actually. I don't remember.
Kirk trying to sleep with everybody. Black on one side of your face, white on the other side of your face.
Yes.
Like all these things, Spock's brain. All these things come from the third season. So clearly it was still part of the conversation. You have to hate all you want the people who weren't as genius as Gene Kuhn or Dorothy Fontana, but they still kept it going. They did. Introduced, interesting concepts. The first mention, I think, of birth control on TV ever in the Mark of Gideon. They're still attacking. They could have just made it real easy and just had it become like a romantic series where they shoot aliens, bad aliens, bring the Klingons back a million times.
Right.
And they didn't do that. They continued to attack the themes that they wanted to do, and I think that's really admirable. And so, the third season is a roller coaster ride, but
it is.
It's a good time.
It is. But I am still enjoying it, and I would agree too that like Kirk going after all the ladies, it's really more of a thing in the third season. Yeah, and I don't think it was a thing before, and it's like now whenever I see a beautiful lady, I'm like, oh crap, here we go. It's like
a Fox Mulder situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, a David Duchovny situation.
Yeah, right.
It's two different things.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It is two different things. You're right.
When you watch 9 seasons of the X-Files and you go, you probably slept with her.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, this guest star is very, very attractive. Probably slept with her.
Okay.
We don't know that for sure.
No, we don't.
For the world is hollow and I have touched the sky. Mm-hmm. The Paradise Syndrome.
Yeah.
All of these.
Yeah.
Third season.
I know.
Weird, problematic Native American episode.
Oh, Lord. That one, and like, what about the one where... It's not the same one, is it? Where they find this place that's like America, but it's like the people are Americans, quote unquote.
That's the Omega Gloria. That's the second season.
Oh, that's the second season.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, I think, problematic.
The Yangs and the Coms.
Well. Yeah.
Hold that thought. We're going to do it later.
Oh, God.
But now we're doing the news. Well, speaking of Star Wars, a solo Star Wars story, solely from Disney, the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, a star of Solo.
That's true.
Has left the Mr. and Mrs. Smith series that she was helping develop on Amazon, where she would star opposite Childish Gambino, not his real name, Donald Glover.
Oh, wait, what? They were working on that together. Why did she leave?
They were.
Yeah.
Creative differences. Now,
that's like could mean anything.
Well, it could mean anything, but it means something bad, doesn't it?
It usually
That's the
does.
Alan Smithy of excuses.
Yeah.
If she's got something else, fine. If she's doing a third season of Fleabag, I know she'll never do a third season of Fleabag until she needs to, because she needs the money. If she was getting married, she's a woman, doesn't get married, never mind. If she started a rap career,
sure,
all of these things would be told to us. But the fact that it's creative differences, which were amicable, which means it was not amicable, we'll know someday. One or both. He'll write our song about it, or, see when we get season 3 of Fleabag, Fleabag will have to work with some real dick.
Is it? Wow. Is it just that, like, they seem like they're both very creative people? Was it just they're very strong-minded?
Both of those things are true.
Yeah.
But this is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is a Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie.
I know what it is.
Potboiler from 2005.
Yeah, I know.
What is there to possibly disagree about?
That strongly, that you're leaving the show.
No, the villains should wear blue instead of red. No, we can't. We have to wait till episode 8 until she suspects that. Right. Is trying to kill her.
Yeah.
What is this is popcorn.
You're right. It is popcorn. It's very strange because it seems like they
butter
probably
and salt? Butter, no salt, salt, no butter. Creative differences.
Yeah, seriously, it could be any. I don't know.
I hate to break up the set because they had a hell of a time working on Solo. Apparently, they really enjoyed it. That's one of the reasons this is happening. So.
I know, which is just like it makes it like upsetting to hear about. Because...
I feel like Michael K. Williams could have healed this.
He could have. Yeah. That was the kind of force he was in the world. This is
one of the problems.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, he would have, he would have been like the best friend of the couple. Would have come in and like, yeah, right.
It was a mistake. Let's talk about David Tennant and his wife, Georgia Tennant,
Okay.
An actress in her own right.
Yep.
The two of them will be co-starring in a show called HIDE. I have to say that. It'll become apparent why in a second.
Okay.
It's at Peacock.
Okay.
And it is a Jekyll and Hyde tale.
Oh, but it's Hyde like Hyde and
Well,
not
I think
HYD.
I think they're trying to be clever with a property that's 150 years old. They're doing their best.
Okay. And it's Peacock?
It is on Peacock.
Question mark?
NBC's Peacock.
Is it like is anything from the BBC like in association with, or is it's just Peacock? This is strange.
I think it's just Peacock.
Okay.
Why are you fighting me on this?
I don't know.
It will be by Michelle Fazakis and Tara Butters, previously of Emergence.
Okay.
I think Michelle worked on Law and Order SVU for a long time.
Okay.
Probably in the genre, most famous for doing 2 seasons of Agent Carter.
Okay.
At NBC.
Sure.
Or ABC, excuse me. And some Dollhouse, too. So, you know, peppy genre TV, vets.
Okay. All right. I mean, this almost seems like something, because they're cast together, this almost seem like something like Tennant and his wife were like shopping around to see who would buy it.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've worked together since Doctor's Daughter.
I don't know if they have either.
So, you know, I know that they have like 4 or 5 kids.
They have so many kids. Maybe
I
they're
know
thinking...
that she's been busy, like, being a mother and homemaking.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like, okay, the kids are all in grade school, and we got a nanny. You know, let's knock something out.
Well, I was thinking, let's work on something together so we can spend time together, and then we can have the kids there.
Take it from somebody who has worked on a set with their significant other. It's not restful.
Fair.
It's not a nurturing thing.
It's not a vacation thing.
It's not like spending time with each other.
Yeah, you're working, so
yeah.
Okay. I mean,
what new can we bring to the Jekyll and Hyde thing, especially considering, and I know that they're not like married or anything, but he spent some time with Stephen Moffat, who had his own take on it.
Yes.
Only 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Maybe a little longer. So yeah, what can we do? The modern day. No, you know what? He looks good in a cravat and a starch collar.
Oh, yeah.
She looks great in a bustle. You just take it back to the Victorian times.
I say do it. I know what you could do. Make her Jekyll and Hyde.
There you go.
Right? And then he's the straight man. Ooh.
He's like, I'm a doctor, but I don't understand what this is.
Right.
And she's like, oh, doctor, you've got to help me. Help me off the cliff.
Yeah, right. And then she gets super strong. And
it's not going to be this. And I will hate it because it's not.
Okay.
So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
You just ruined this for me.
Anyway, somebody do that because that would be interesting.
On a future release date that they're going to be working on it, though. Speaking of things that'll never get a release date, so I had forgotten all about this. And so that's, maybe this is why it happened in the first place. But remember when there was going to be a new Warriors show on Freeform?
Like The Warriors?
No, cool though.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
Instead, this is the New Warriors.
Which is...
I don't know why they're the New Warriors.
To not get confused.
I've read a lot of comic books. I don't remember if there were old Warriors. Maybe it was literally like Walter Hill got mad at them, and so Marvel Comics had to add a new on it. I don't know the answer, but they are a superhero team.
Okay.
Now, the old New Warriors was Namorita, Night Thrasher, Speedball. They were like... Young Avengers before we just went, well, why don't we just have Young Avengers?
Okay.
And then eventually the New Warriors became like for young heroes, so it's like, I think they're keeping Speedball, but it's Squirrel Girl and like Ms. Marvel.
Sure.
And like these, and they don't have Ms. Marvel because she's in a Hulu show.
Yeah.
But it was going to be basically anchored by Melania Weintraub as Squirrel Girl.
Okay.
And that's something that most people were excited about. Kevin Beigel, the showrunner of the show, which has now been canceled, as all Marvel projects have essentially been just strangled in the cradle that aren't going forward with Kevin Feige as now head of all broadcasting.
Okay, sure, yeah, right.
Tweeted over the weekend a bunch of stuff, screenshots, I think maybe some videos, all this material of them on set. Filming the pilot, which I don't know was ever finished. I don't know if it's because you think if he's going to leak something, he just dropped the pilot.
You just dropped the pilot, yeah.
But he's got a bunch of material showing Weintraub and cast in costume, working on the sets, hanging out, to table reads and stuff. And
it's
then,
really cool.
Most interesting to me, this tells you where they're at vis-a-vis their budget. An animatronic squirrel.
Yeah, that was great.
Slippy, Nutty, Flippy.
I don't remember
Bippy, whatever the squirrel's name was.
Yeah.
Not CGI. And when I say animatronic, I mean a puppet. They had a squirrel puppet, which they made from a dead squirrel. It is made from a dead squirrel.
Shut up.
How else
Seriously?
It's just a squirrel, right? You take a squirrel's skin and you put it on a foam body that's a squirrel.
No,
and then you have
it's not taxidermy.
4 puppeteers. Yes, it's a stuffed. It has to be.
Oh, stop it.
How do you replicate that strange blend of like 5 different colors that they have in their fur?
You can create it. Shut up.
Anyway, he Beigel, this is tweeted along with this saying that the show was canceled because a singular power killed it. It was too gay. Rich, straight Brentwood turd canceled it. Now, I don't know where Jeff Loeb lives. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if it was in Brentwood, California. And he, tweeted all this extra footage, and then it was all taken down. And he joked that Ryan Reynolds took control of his account. Kind of an inside joke. What, as
Deadpool?
Well, no, the idea that, since 2013, they've been wanting to make a Deadpool movie, couldn't get it done. Before Deadpool came out in 2013. For a long time, they wanted to make a Deadpool movie. And they put together this entire previs.
Right.
And then Ryan Reynolds just went, I guess this is never going to happen. With his little Ryan Reynolds face.
Right.
And then people were like, you got to make this. And then 2 years later, they made it. And that scene was in the movie.
Right.
Just reshot in live action instead of their previs.
Do you think that's what he was gunning for?
He thinks that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen. So he didn't have permission to do
Maybe
this.
Maybe the Eternals will run into Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
And that'll get her started.
He just wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Right?
I totally understand.
Yeah.
And, I don't know what he's doing now. I'm sure he's doing something else. He was doing stuff before this. He'll work again. He's fine. But if you're a creator and you're frustrated and you've got literally the biggest, the fulcrum, Archimedes' fulcrum that could move the earth. Right next to it is a megaphone that can encompass the entire earth.
Right.
Tell everybody about the show that you're mad that got canceled. Do it.
Yeah. Do you think this will violate an NDA that he signed or something?
Maybe,
like that?
But he'll get another job and they'll just give him an ironclad NDA to work for DC or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So back to AT&T commercials.
Yeah, is she AT&T or is she Team? Yeah, I guess she is AT&T. Yeah, that's sad. I think she makes a good Squirrel Girl for what it's worth. So, visually, just looking at her.
And so far as the character needs to exist at all?
Yeah.
I agree. Let's talk about things that won't be existing in China, that is.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So, our review of Shang-Chi was, let's say, even-handed.
I think so.
I hope so. But I said, even if I don't love this, I think China's going to love this.
Yes.
Now they'll never have a chance.
No.
Because it turns out that some unearthed, and by unearthed I mean maybe 3 or 4 scrolls down his Twitter feed, but some unearthed...
No, it was in 2017.
Okay, I guess it was a while ago, but this guy has been... Look, he's been talking loose for a long time.
Oh, I know.
He's a straight shooter.
Yeah, he is.
Some comments by star Simu Liu have basically made it unlikely that there will be a release of Shang-Chi in China. Now, add to some woes here. Chloe Zhao.
Yeah.
Zhao?
Zhao.
We're all learning.
It's Zhao.
We're learning to pronounce these names. Chloe Zhao who's directing the Eternals.
Yeah.
Ain't no way that movie's coming out over there. She's like a thought criminal in China.
Yeah.
So that's out.
Yeah.
And Black Widow hasn't come out yet?
No,
guys, there's no ghosts in it. It's fine. You can watch it.
I know.
Hasn't come out.
No.
I don't know what it is. The communism, maybe
I don't
Disney
know.
wanting to make sure that they get all the money from it and don't have to give ScarJo any.
It might be the communism.
Be an accounting thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so real dearth of Marvel movies in China right now.
Yes. Which
is weird. Do you remember exactly what Simu Liu said?
I don't know if I remember exactly. It was something like he was talking about, so he's born and raised in Canada, and I don't know if his parents were raised in China and then came over to Canada or what the exact situation was, but something they've at least been there, I think. Anyways, he said that like his parents told him that China was like a third world country and that like that food is really scarce and all this stuff, and basically, China.
Well, in there, again, we don't know if they were immigrants,
right,
or not, but emigres, whatever. But at the time that they were thinking of, like their childhoods, it was.
Yeah, right.
If I'm just doing the math of how old his parents probably are,
right? Exactly.
It was. Yeah. At that time.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot better now.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if he was. China One News Network. What do you think? Do you think the people in China are starving? Oh yeah, they're starving. Like, I don't know what the context was.
I have no idea what the context was.
We all know that as a famous person, you're asked to talk for most of your job, and the longer you talk, the more likely you're going to say something that somebody gets mad at. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm not saying that I don't know what his overall opinion of China is. I know he's very supportive of Asian American actors,
absolutely,
and movie business people.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So I can see that China would not love that. This is a little different than negating the existence of Taiwan. So if I saw a grainy video where Simu Liu is like, "Ni hao, sorry for saying that you're all starving,"
talking about John Cena,
it would sting less than the John Cena video.
Yeah.
If that's all it took.
Yeah. Right.
But I think it's interesting that we have a situation where Marvel/Disney, we know is willing to do anything, including shoot in provinces
China.
Where Uyghurs are in boxes to get the Chinese market. You can never, ever trust a corporation with anything.
No.
But they are in a weird position where they are kind of politically protesting this by refusing to just go ahead and release Shang-Chi and see what happens, or release it and have it be stopped by Chinese censors, like video games where we'll get to it in a second.
Yes.
And just basically going, do we bother doing the Eternals one? We're not doing the Eternals one, you know?
Yeah, right.
Because we stand behind Chloe or whatever.
Yeah, right.
They're in a weird position where they're kind of the thought leader as far as like resisting Chinese censorship goes.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see what they do with that. I bet there's a lot of messages, hopefully unanswered, on Simu's machine about how like, can you do a John Cena video?
I know.
Can you just do that?
Yeah, I know. It's frustrating though, because if you think
we'll
about it,
fly you over there,
right?
And we'll just set you up, big bowl of chicken feet, and you
stop it.
Look, it's not racist. They like chicken feet.
Yeah, that you pulled something.
I did pull something weird.
Yes.
Look, if I had said sweet and sour pork, you would have said they don't eat that there.
Did you have to pull something like that?
A big bucket of bao.
Sure.
He's with a bunch of other people, a bunch of natives.
Yeah.
And they're all like, thumbs up.
Having a good time.
And then have some guys come out with hatchets and attack him, just to spice it up a little bit.
Oh, stop
and
it.
Then he beats them up, and he's like, Taiwan doesn't exist. End of video.
Oh my God.
That's my pitch.
I just think it's frustrating because China, I mean, okay, I guess like to some extent you have some say as to what goes on in your country, but it just seems like they have way too much control. And like, if we're talking about like 2017, this is most likely before Simu Liu had any idea he was going to be cast as Shang-Chi and going to be making this movie. So probably wasn't even thinking about, boy, I better watch what I say about China because otherwise, some of my movies might not get played over there. I think it's really frustrating for somebody who has, Chinese nationality, at least, ancestrally. It's got to be incredibly frustrating for your country of all of your ancestors to be like, screw you. You
Canada?
said we suck. Yeah, well, I know. But yeah.
Why don't you sit on a maple leaf?
Yeah, right.
I said, he's coming over here.
Oh, crap.
I know he can kick my ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we don't know if this is just a case of like, just chill out or China has a case. I mean, I don't think China has a case either way.
Probably not.
People can say whatever they want. But, there's consequences.
Yeah.
I just don't think that this isn't a Roseanne situation, for instance.
No.
He said that his parents told him people were starving in China. Everybody's parents told them that's how you got them to eat their peas. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Speaking of China,
and
let's not do it for too much longer, China has banned all new video games.
Yep.
Oh, you're waiting for me to qualify that? I can't. They won't allow any new video games to be sold in the country. This comes on the heels of last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, they announced that they were going to restrict video game playing time for children under 18.
How can they do that?
I don't know how they're going to enforce this. I have no idea. You can only play 3 hours a week, and you can't play on the weekends from 8 to 9, which is the Chinese dinner time, I think. They eat later.
Okay.
They're Eurasian.
It just doesn't it seem like you're invading like the parents' sphere?
Get those chicken feet. All right, come on, it's right there.
Come on, Cal.
Do you think? Yeah. Oh no, the nanny state. No, I don't know what the Chinese word for nanny is, but yeah, the nanny's got a machine gun. Yeah.
It's frustrating.
That was part of their effort to curb what they call, internet and game addiction amongst their young people.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently somebody. Maybe it was the negative reaction to the restriction, but now they say no new video games. And this wasn't, and they didn't, as far as I understand, they might have done it later, but we first got this information from a video game company. There's a video game company called Tencent,
mm-hmm.
which is not just a video game company. I think they're like a conglomerate. I think they're like, have a lot of interests. But one of the things they do is they, own video games and like mobile games. And they had a meeting with government officials and came out, and people were like, what was the meeting about? And they're like, they banned video games. Like, we can't make video games anymore. And over the course of the last couple days, Tencent has lost 6 Bethesdas in value.
That's a lot.
Bethesda is one of the most well-heeled, profitous, the makers of Skyrim.
Yep.
Fallout,
mm-hmm.
one of the most richest video game companies, recently bought by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft's goal is just to buy companies that make games and then make them make bad games.
Yep.
Rare. And so, they lost like billions of dollars of value. Now they can handle it. They own billions of dollars of value.
Right.
But going forward, no one knows where this is going and if it's going to stop. Nobody knows how to change this, how to
you
get them.
You can't reason with China.
No, I guess not. Ask Simu Liu.
I'm sorry, but like, it just seems like you can't have fun in China. You're having fun. Stop it. Stop it. You can't have fun.
Look,
no more fun.
I'll say this. It's been said before. Maybe this is what got Simu Liu in trouble, but China is asshole.
Is what?
China is asshole. It's a meme. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
You have a government that is doing its best to try to keep 1 billion people under its thumb, and they're having to resort to getting rid of video games to make that happen.
Do you think... I don't know. Do you think that like there'll be people who will leave China because of this?
Western media's complete lack, or let's say lethargy, at covering the Hong Kong protests.
Yes, thank you.
Is a huge factor in us not, we'd rather see a guy that says beer, barbecue, and freedom interrupt a a small town in Arizona's press conference about vaccinations, and that's a freedom fighter, and yet there are people getting their eyes shot out and their skulls crushed in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to protest the crackdowns and reforms in Hong Kong.
Right.
And that's not important.
Well, because we don't want to upset China.
Shouldn't Fox News be reporting on that? Should they be saying these people are fighting back against their communist overlords and we should be supporting those people? No, they don't do that.
They should, actually.
Yeah, they really actually should.
It seems like it's right up their alley.
It's almost like their ideology is fake and self-serving.
Yeah, it almost is.
It's almost like that. Let's talk about somebody who's fake and self-serving. So Olivia Munn, I'm just kidding. We had to say it. We had to say it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Had to say it.
Okay.
Is unfair. I think that the criticism that Olivia Munn gets is unfair.
Yes.
Turns out she's a mediocre actress who is just trying to make her way. There are plenty of mediocre actresses.
That's true.
She does not deserve. She merely has the attention of a bunch of fat, unhappy video game nerds.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of her former career as a video game talk lady. Person,
exactly.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was recently announced by John Mulaney, and I hope that she's okay with the announcement, but I guess it doesn't matter now.
I'm sure she is.
That she and John Mulaney will be expecting their first child.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just drinking in your expression.
I don't have an expression.
But you do!
No, I wish you'd taken a picture. I wish you'd taken a picture.
Oh
there was
my
no
God,
expression.
no! You are smirking.
I am not smirking.
You are upset.
They're going to think
about
I'm smirking.
This,
I'm not upset. I'm waiting for... I know that you've got thoughts, and I was just like going to hold my tongue for once and let you give your thoughts.
All right. This just seems like... I don't want to judge. I like John Mulaney, but it seems like a bad decision, you know?
There's a thing
Yeah.
that doesn't happen when men attach their wagons to a female star. Nobody really cared about... Oh, bad example. Only thing I can think of. Chad Lowe was married to Hilary Swank. And Hilary Swank won an Oscar, right?
Yeah.
And she thanked Chad Lowe.
Yeah.
And we were all like, oh, that's nice, that's nice. But nobody ever really cares about, like, Chad Lowe had something of a career then. He's completely gone now. It's Rob Lowe's brother.
Oh, okay.
I think they're brothers. And people were like, oh, okay, fine. I bet when Georgia Moffat married David Tennant, a lot of people were like, oh, well, there you go. Well, I guess you're set now.
Probably.
Begin having children.
Yeah. Oh,
and then he'll just rake in the doctor residuals. Does that exist?
I don't even
know if it did,
that
Colin
exists.
Baker would have a better life that he does it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But anyway, the appearances and Big Finish audio plays and, whatever.
Right.
The cultural cachet of being in Doctor Who.
Tennant,
John Barrowman's lived on it for years.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Listen. So that exists one way and not the other way, and I think that's unfair.
I agree.
But I feel a lot of that in this. A woman who's like, I was Psylocke, damn it, and nobody cares about me still.
Yeah, I know.
And then you've got this guy. And I met my new girlfriend at my wedding to my ex-wife.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it is unfair, and I think maybe partially why I feel this way too is that nothing against her, I just don't really like her that much, and that's not, look.
Nothing against her, I just hate her guts.
Okay, well,
I
guess
just hate
that
her
sounds
guts.
bad. It's not her fault, I just don't think she's a very good actress, and that's not her fault. She's very pretty. I just think that it feels like an odd pairing to me, but maybe that's just me being judgy.
Maybe that's just a man going to rehab, getting divorced, and getting somebody pregnant in 1 year.
Probably. If this had happened,
although this had been arranged earlier.
Yeah, you have your guts.
Welcome to Carol's Gossip Corner. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So people have dug up, and by
but...
dug up, just going back a year in somebody's texts or tweets. All tweets should be deleted every 2 weeks.
Sure.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I'm putting you on notice. Blogs, CNN, whoever. Stop embedding tweets because they should all be deleted 2 weeks. You screenshot that or it didn't happen.
Yeah, sure.
Because I have all kinds of thoughts all day long about pushing old ladies on the train platforms. But if they are immortalized on the internet forever, they're going to bite me in the ass when they find those dead, crushed ladies.
Yeah, okay.
So don't ever. So people went back in his tweet feed and saw that, just before he entered rehab, Olivia Munn tweeted him, added him or whatever, and said, hey, you got this, you're strong. And so people are like, oh, okay, so it was already going on. Yes, it was already going on. She's pregnant.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how pregnant. And it turned into kind of a meme, or like, what is something when people acted out in real life? A meme plus. It turned into a meme plus, write that down, where people were like, whatever the phrasing was, I'll use my phrasing.
Okay.
They'd be like, hey, Idris Elba, you got it. You're strong. Like they're going to get that thing. It's like a prayer to get what they want.
Oh, stop.
Like, hey, 2-bedroom house, you got it. You're strong.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway, internet having fun with that.
Well, okay. I mean, it's I don't know. It's a little unfortunate how invested we are.
This is longer than I thought we were going to talk about it, to be honest.
Okay.
No, you can keep talking.
Well, it's a little unfortunate how invested we are in people's lives, right? Like, really, who cares?
Right. But, like, did your friend wow everyone with, I guess your friend's not a comedian, I don't know, something. There's somebody with an elevated presence, footprint in your life, and then they went, oh, I'm checking into rehab, by the way.
Yeah, I know,
got a real problem. And you're like, what? Oh, also, my wife is leaving me.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Right.
But I got a new girlfriend and she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot to take in
and
a
my
small
kid
amount
show,
of time.
the second season of my kid show will be delayed. Do we want to talk about The Last Duel at all?
Oh God. Yeah, sure.
What do you want to say about it? Did you know that, dude, Ben Affleck is a feminist?
I've been told that he's a feminist.
What I love about this is that without looking into this, because honestly, I don't keep track of what Ridley Scott's doing these days. But when I heard he was doing this movie, which
The Duel.
Let's hope it's his last film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The man is over 80. Enjoy the fruits of your career.
Right.
Chill out.
Yeah.
But he wants to make this movie. I'm gonna fingers crossed it's his last. And it's called The Last Duel.
Yeah.
Last is in the title.
Yes.
His first movie was called The Duelists.
Right.
Good way to come in, good way to go out.
Bookends.
Exactly. With a sword through him.
Yes.
Can you get if you're a fencer, do you have a bookend that's like, oh, it's got a sword on one hand, so the point's coming out the other side?
Yes.
Keep those books together.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's gonna be interesting. Oh, Matt Damon's in it. All right, well, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And it's about a duel, and it's going to be historically accurate, quote unquote.
Yes.
Right? Then I found out, because it went to Venice, and they were showing it at Venice, and they were interviewing Ben Affleck, that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, the Oscar-winning writing duo of Affleck and Damon, wrote it. And I was like, I'm not seeing that.
I know! You told me, and I was disappointed.
Of not being like a working critic anymore is that nobody pays me to watch this stuff, so I don't have to watch this shit.
Well, and then, like, to make matters worse. So it's about, the Last Duel is about, what's her name is...
Jodie Comer.
Yeah, Jodie Comer, thank you.
Yes.
Is married to Matt Damon, and Adam Driver makes some advances towards her, and she's like, I didn't sleep with him, I didn't do it, or he, I don't know.
Yes.
He at least tried to have sex with her. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Anyways, I
think nothing had just as an amateur screenwriter, nothing had to happen for there to be
a suggestion,
drama, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, we just want Damon to cut this guy's head off.
Yeah, right.
Or she hates Damon because he looks like he's a jerk in this movie and kind of secretly loves Adam Driver, and that's drama. But I think the drama is, it's like The Crucible, right? The Crucible, they get Elizabeth Proctor,
right,
who would never lie about anything,
No.
to lie and say that John never slept with Abigail because she thinks they're trying to pillory him, literally. It's the Pilgrim times,
right?
For sleeping with her, and so she lies. But it turns out her lie dooms them all to death.
Yeah.
Which is like, wow, it's like, no, like Arthur Miller hates women. What did Marilyn do to him? So anyway, I haven't seen the movie, but I think that nothing could have happened, right? Because that's, or maybe not. I don't know. You have to ask Nicole Holofcener. Don't know how to say her name. She's a female, obviously, screenwriter. And the thing about her is that she has been nominated for an Academy Award for some of the films that she's done. She is writing the girl parts. Here's a headline from Collider. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Nicole Holofcener divided the last dual script by gender.
Yeah, seriously.
So apparently the first two acts deal with the build-up and the duel.
Yeah.
The third act deals with the human female drama.
The emotions.
Of Jodie Comer's character. And they split it all up. And Ben Affleck's like, yeah, but I'm a feminist, though.
Screw you. Like, you can't even write. You're not. How are you a feminist? You haven't shown me you are a feminist. You brought, I guess, you brought a woman in to write the woman parts.
Yeah, you got your friend who doesn't say the F word anymore. He doesn't say it.
Yeah, right.
And the two of you went, oh, dude, we don't know anything about women. Oh, we'll let the girl write the women stuff.
Yeah, we've just been married to some and have kids that are daughters.
Well, I have one that tells me not to say the F word all the time.
Right, exactly.
But geez, it was like this.
Yeah.
It's not... And it's a selling point. Their selling point is, don't worry.
We didn't write the
guy from the
parts.
town didn't write the parts with the girl where she's crying and stuff.
It's like, screw you.
Screw this movie.
I know.
I'm not seeing this movie. Unless somebody wants to pay me to write a review for the movie, then I will absolutely see it. Furios has been delayed. Sorry. I know you wanted to watch it immediately. I know you wanted to watch
Anya
Taylor-Joy get her robot arm. It was originally scheduled to come out June 23rd, 2023. They'll cap that though, won't they?
Yeah. When is it?
I hope she shaves her head. I hope she does. But it's going to come out Memorial Day 2024 if we're all still alive then.
Jesus Christ, that's
more and more
far away.
It becomes a tough principle.
A tough
prospect.
Oh, yes. A mirage in the distance.
All right, look, there's more news. I want to talk about all the stuff that Sony dropped at their big press conference.
Yeah, all the video games.
Yeah, there's
highlights.
ABBA's back. ABBA's back.
Yeah, I know.
Are they political? There's no other reason to come back after 40 years if you're not political. But
I don't know
ABBA's
the answer
back.
To that. Okay.
There's that huge Apple Epic ruling. Maybe we'll talk about video games in another week when it's not fresh anymore. But what we need to talk about right now is the biggest video game of all, and that is the Matrix we all live in. The Matrix Resurrections trailer is out. Give me your thoughts.
It could be cool. It's really hard to tell from this, like, if it will be or not, because it's going to be, I mean, for better or for worse, you can tell it's going to be very different from the original trilogy.
Are you sure about that?
No.
It kind of looks like the Force Awakens of Matrixes, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind
of. Looks like they're doing the first film all over again. Hey, guy, depressed? Guess what? You're a Superman. Now get out there. Did you fall in love? Good for you. How are the noodles? Look out for the deja vu cat. Yeah. What I want to know, wait, that's Kashmir. I meant to do Killing in the Name of.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So here's what I want to know.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
What is the new bullet time going to be? Right? Because they need they have to innovate.
Yeah, I know.
Why bring it back if you can't? And I know. Michel Gondry invented it for a vodka commercial, and then it was popularized by a Gap. I knew that.
Oh, okay.
Years ago, but yes, we did see that recently. And then it was, a Gap commercial.
Yes.
So what is the new thing? They have to innovate. Otherwise, what's the point? And then B, music-wise, where are we at? Last time around,
so hard for me.
1999, pop, goth, techno, your ditches and your witches and your Dragulas, your Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
I have no
Dua
freaking
Lipa,
idea.
Getting Physical, coming out. Like what is something that's like underground but still like salable and recognizable?
K-pop? I don't know.
You know what? You might have something there.
I don't know. I mean,
if BTS has the lead single from the Matrix soundtrack,
yeah,
I owe you $50.
Okay, I'll take that.
I'm not gonna find $50. You're gonna win that one.
Gosh, the bullet time thing. I'm gonna steal something from you.
Sure. Well, that's not. I could just say it too.
The room spinning from Inception, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that playing with perspective, playing with
like Doctor Strange,
actually kind of stealing Michel Gondry's shit, right?
Yeah.
Just doing Michel Gondry shit.
Yeah.
Using the fact that not only in the world of the Matrix, nothing is actually real. Mm-hmm. In film, nothing is real.
Right.
And so, yeah, going into a room and the gravity changes or like the perspective of a hallway is different than you think, like doing that kind of stuff. They were already kind of getting into that stuff in the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. There's a scene in the third movie where they go to the Club Hell. Look, it's hard to name things. And everybody flips upside down and then they're like running on the ceiling and stuff like that.
Right.
But it never really like... It was kind of just trying to get some of the original lobby fight in there, and I don't feel like they really committed to what it was.
But they really had like actors like and performers like running on the ceiling though,
yeah.
which is
Here's
crazy to
do.
me.
You just film somebody, and then you just comp it in, and they're upside down.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were serious about it. So that's kind of what I think. Other than that, here's what I'm not looking forward to. But I guess I respect the imagination and the opinions of, I guess I was going to say these filmmakers. It's just one filmmaker this time around.
It is, yeah.
I respect their opinion enough that I want to see what their take is on everybody's on their phones all the time. Oh boy, look up, enjoy the world.
I'm so sick of that.
We've had that, right? But what if it was literally life and death for you to get off your phone? Like, what's their take on the idea that? Because we see in the trailer, he's going to, the psychiatrist. I'm a little
I'm worried about that.
Uncomfortable about the depiction of mental health being something that can be cured by shooting a cop. But in Minecraft, but
or that you should stop taking your pills.
I think that right.
I'm concerned about that messaging.
Lots of things.
I know.
But it seems like he seems wealthy, right? This is not the Mr. Anderson of before. Mm-hmm. So what if the machines go back on their deal? They've got him. We all know he was absolutely dead at the end of that third movie. Yeah. But we didn't see a hole in his chest. So we'll just say that he is alive. Mm-hmm. They put him in the thing, and then they give him a comfortable life. Instead of going to the crappy job in the cubicle, he is somehow independently wealthy. And he gets the thick, medium rare steaks all the time.
Yeah, right.
But now he's lived that for 20 years.
And he's not happy with it.
But now he still doesn't, he dreams about this woman. He dreams about this other life. Yeah.
He's just not satisfied.
It's actually kind of pedestrian when you think about it.
It is a little bit.
But the funny thing is that we've got 3 other great movies. I could see just doing a movie where you go, a guy finds out that he's more than he thinks he is.
Yeah.
That's every movie, right?
Yeah, right.
So doing one of those in the Matrix universe is fine. What I want to know is, what are 5 and 6 going to be? Because you know that this is provisional, right?
You think?
I think, yeah. I mean, it's...
You don't bring it back to do 1.
Well, Warner Brothers... It's still Warner Brothers, I think, right?
I think.
They haven't paid for the other 2. But if this does well... And
they will.
I think it's... Assuming the stupid numbers go down... there's no reason that this shouldn't be huge. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
How do you...
Do millennials and Zoomers like The Matrix? Discuss.
You have to keep in mind that millennials actually covers a large range. And
Screw them. Do Zoomers like The Matrix?
I don't know the answer to that. I was going to say I'm considered a millennial.
I saw like 7 times in the theater. And innumerable times on VHS.
I don't know that
VHS.
Yeah, I know.
And then DVD.
Yep. I don't know how Zoomers feel about The Matrix, or if it's even like in their zeitgeist like it is for you and me. Like I see like green numbers in front of black and I'm like, oh, Matrix, you know, or if I see like that font, I'm like, oh, Matrix, you know, see the tiny little glass. There's so many things that are like iconic from those movies and that just bring me back to
right, but we are time. Another 20 years away from terminal computers, you know, terminal programming, the CRTs, the green screens.
Right. Dial up.
Yeah, like what is it? It would just be like, I remember I used to be on like Club Penguin. Like the Matrix is Club Penguin, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm clicking on it. Oh boy, the Netscape N is really going around.
Right. I mean, when these movies came out,
you don't know what I'm talking about.
What?
You never Club Penguin.
I don't remember
She never Club Penguin.
Pretty as a midsummer's morn, they call her Dawn.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
I think you got the wrong movies.
Well, look, Basil Polidoris scored this thing, and yet there's nothing that you can really pull out of this. Like, I'm not really thinking about...
No, not in the same way that you can for Terminator. Yeah, it doesn't really stick with you. I mean, I thought the music was fine, but yeah, it doesn't stick with you and stay with you, get stuck in your head. So
just to be clear, like Polidoris never did Terminator, but he did.
Oh, okay.
Verhoeven did RoboCop, Red October,
gotcha.
Starship Troopers. And he's worked with Milius, you know, Conan the Barbarian, Red Dawn, these films of this nature.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, unfortunately, nothing that really sticks out in that way. What a weird way to start this off, this talk about Red Dawn. But we got the music out of the way. Now we can talk about the film itself.
Yes.
Red Dawn.
Yeah.
A 1982 movie that came out in 1984.
Oh. How'd that happen?
Filmed in 82.
Okay.
Yeah, starring...
a lot of stars from the 80s.
A lot of people who would go on to a lot of stuff. Brad Savage.
That wouldn't be the first name I would have pulled.
The guy that played Arturo.
Uh-huh. Right.
Harry Dean Stanton. Big guy.
Uh-huh.
Big guy.
Yeah.
No, of course, Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howell, Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, Leah Thompson. People who would just... Guess what? Gonna be seeing these guys.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Exactly.
Special mention for Lane Smith, who plays the mayor and is just, you know, that's a guy that he's one of those guys.
Okay. That you just
My cousin Vinny.
recognize. Yeah. Powers.
Perry White and Lois and Clark, The New Adventures.
Oh, okay. Great. I like Perry White. We have to mention Powers Booth as well.
Of course we do.
Because it would be a shame not to.
He'll come back and to talk to you. I was going to say kill you, but like Powers Booth doesn't kill a lot of people. But he definitely was like,
he knows
tell you
people
one
who
thing
could kill
about
you.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. But also he'll just say something. You'll be like, God, so mean.
He is.
You're not worth a $2 whore in a phone booth.
Like, yeah, I know, right?
So mean.
I know. You feel like you have to take a bath just to get the mean words off of you.
What happens in this movie?
What does happen in this movie? Well,
if you say Patrick Swayze picks up his brother and a friend in a truck, I swear to God, I will go Red Dawn on you.
Crap. So it's a sleepy town in Colorado. And Patrick Swayze drops his friend and
no.
Okay, so it appears like a normal day. And Patrick Swayze's brother is at school. They're at high school, and they're in class. And then all of a sudden, there are some parachuters that come down in front of the school, and it's like, this is strange. You know that it's strange because the movie tells you so. And
yeah,
what? Are you going to talk about the history teacher?
Yes.
Yeah, he was great.
But he's the guy. He was
somebody.
He's in Last Action Hero.
Oh, okay.
And he's in a bunch of stuff. He was in
I have no idea.
Not 48 Hours. Red Dawn? No, this is Red Dawn.
Yeah, this is Red Dawn.
Red Heat.
Oh,
Red Heat?
Okay. Anyways, just really...
Just nothing. Nothing from you.
I have no idea.
Here's where we pause the podcast. And we look up the character of Lieutenant Decker from Frank McRae. Slater!
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Frank McRae.
Okay.
He was a defensive tackle for the Bears.
Oh, that's hilarious. I did not know that.
Here are some films that he's been in. You have
Okay.
seen all of these films. He was in Rocky 2. You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen Rocky
He was
2.
in Used Cars. He was in
haven't seen
48
that.
Hours. He was the captain in 48 Hours. Oh, God damn it. Why do I have to have this black guy around? I'm black. I'm your captain.
I know,
What the
right?
hell?
Yeah.
Vacation. Batteries not included. He was Sharky in License to Kill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've seen that? The Wizard. Another 48 Hours.
I mean, so he's not in this film for very long, but he's memorable. And so he's this powerful like speaker, and he's a history teacher. And like these guys parachute down, and he's like...
Yeah, and let's just mention, he talks about the Mongols. Continue.
Yes, which,
Continue.
you know, maybe not great.
Continue.
But, not great. But he's like, oh, there must be some kind of mistake. I'm going to go out and take care of this. And so he's just like, I'm the adult. I'm the authority figure. I'm going to, excuse me, what seems to be going on here? And then they just shoot him.
As a history teacher, kill him.
Yeah, right. Kill history. And they just start shooting up the school, and it's just like chaos and terror from then on out. And so they get picked up by Patrick Swayze in a pickup truck, and they go and they get supplies, and they go up to the mountains. We learned that Patrick Swayze and his brother have been trained by their dad to hunt and fish, and they're gonna basically do that until they run out of food and or they don't see this war on their town happening anymore. So they do that, but they do kind of run out of food, so they go back to town, and things are cray-cray.
Don't turn around.
Yeah,
the
right.
commissar's in town.
Yeah. And they talk to some people, and there's a re-education camp, which is, you know, not really what it is. So they basically rounded up people who they thought...
We're playing video games.
Yeah, right. Who they thought would be trouble for them and doing what they wanted to do, and they put them in this constant...
Okay, you're never going to get there.
Oh, God.
It's combined Russian
Yes.
and Cuban/Nicaraguan forces.
Well, I didn't get the Nicaraguan.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because Nicaragua, oh boy, they had a big army ready to invade America.
Did they?
No, it's just the 80s, and it's the war on drugs, and that's where the coca comes from. And so that's...
Wow.
Manuel Noriega was, on the hit list back then. So,
jeez, okay.
So look,
I wouldn't have made that connection. But all
that's
right.
propaganda. Oh no, he was from Panama. Who's the guy from Nicaragua?
I don't know.
Anyway, we had nothing to worry about back then.
Apparently not.
So they were on the list.
We had to make things to worry about.
They were on the list.
And Cuba and Russia, because communism, and
right.
And that's why Red Dawn. You
Yeah,
know,
that's ours.
Communism is bad. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, gotta protect America.
Right. Only not.
Right.
But just finish them. Tell us what happens in the movie.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted me to stop.
No, why? No, you're not done. That's the first act.
I know it's the first act.
Avenge me, boys.
Yeah.
Avenge
So
me.
they see their dad in the re-education camp, and he.
Don't cry. Don't ever cry again.
So a big theme of this movie is toxic masculinity. I'm sorry, it is.
Whether or not the movie knows it or not.
Yeah, I don't think the movie's necessarily in on it, but basically, men, boys, what have you, are told multiple times not to cry.
Don't cry.
And to
let it turn.
Yeah, let it turn into like anger and then their dad says, "Avenge me," and it's like, I want to be like, avenge you for what? For being locked up in here? Yeah. Like, how are we? What are we avenging you for? And we basically find out. I know.
Avenge me.
Oh my God.
That guy needs a vengeance.
And we basically find out that their mom was killed. Look, there are a lot of men and boys in this. We do meet some girl characters later, thankfully. But it's a very masculine, boo rah rah, we're gonna do it ourselves movie, for better or for worse.
Are they men? They're
boys.
literally boys.
They're boys. They're high school boys.
They're boys. 2 men. BBC.
Yeah.
ABC. BBD.
I don't know how
BBC
old.
boys, 2 men.
Wow.
BBC.
Yeah.
On the hour.
Right. I don't know how old Patrick Swayze is supposed to be in this. Like, if he's college age or what. He's not in high school.
Yeah.
He's older than that.
I don't know if college is in the cards for him, but yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Unclear.
We're really not getting through the plot here. Want me to take over as I always do?
Yeah. It's. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. They meet this. They go to this one guy's cabin. And I don't know, he's like on the outskirts of town or whatever, so his cabin is like safe, but he's basically he's like, you can always come here, but P.S. can you take my granddaughters who are Jennifer Grey and Leah Thompson, because they've had to hide because people have been trying to attack them, aka rape them. And so they basically have been like hiding them, and it's not even a basement, it's like a trap door in their kitchen. I don't even know. And so they go with them, and they basically become guerrilla fighters, and they call themselves the Wolverines because that's what the mascot of the school is, and also because Wolverines are small, ferocious animals, and they're small in number, but
We're in high school.
Yeah, right. But they will F you up. And they do. They make these plans and they attack them and they get firearms, and they
predates the creation of Marvel Comics as Wolverine. By the way.
Yeah.
Who was in comics, and maybe they probably asked about the rights. I'm surprised Marvel didn't give it to him, but
yeah.
We're Wolverine.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Maybe it confuses the message.
Maybe.
This is taking quite a long time. So they create a guerrilla campaign against the Cuban/Soviet troops that have occupied their town. We get the sense that America is fighting back, but it's not going well.
Yeah.
You forgot to mention that there were title cards at the beginning said that this is, of course, an alternate 1980s where, democracy is under attack all
NATO
over the place.
has been dissolved.
NATO has fallen apart, even though they stayed out of Europe. So Europe is still together. They just don't. We're going to talk about my modern reading of this film later, but it kind of seems like Europe just kind of left America. Like, you guys are enjoy your aerobics and your American cocaine.
And we heard that the stuff in England is not going well.
Well, England, of course, had to help us out because they're England.
Yeah.
Also, China is on our side, but we don't mention them at all.
We just say, they're on our side.
Here's you go.
Radio silence.
Red Dawn side quill.
Uh-huh.
Chinese. Make sure all the stars keep their mouths shut. We sell it to the Chinese.
Yeah. Delete
it's
your
about
old
the
tweets.
Great communist heroes of alternate 1980s China.
Sure.
That fight back the also communist Russians, but not the same kind. They're bent on conquest.
Right.
And so Patrick Swayze has to lead his group, who are boys and girls and not men and women.
Yes.
And the things they go through. They have success militarily, but they begin to fray at the edges because of the stress of this. The son of the mayor is one of their guys.
Yeah.
He turns on them.
Yep.
He's pressured to, but basically he turns on them and they have to get rid of him.
Yep.
And then the bloom is off the rose.
Yep, pretty much.
I forgot to mention that Powers Booth is an American Air Force colonel who shot down near them and joins their fight, gives them all this information about what's going on in the world because they don't got the radio takes a bullet in the first act.
Right.
So they don't know what's going on at all.
Oh, but they get a radio from...
Cut it, doesn't matter. It doesn't, yes, they absolutely do. But they get no information from that radio, do they? They get it from Powers Booth. Mm-hmm. And Powers Booth is going to, make a man out of them and lead them.
Right.
And is brutally killed and destroyed and blown up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they don't know what to do. And so they decide, after a assault by special forces, Russian special forces, devastates their group, they decide to split up, and 2 of them are going to go for freedom, over the mountains to where it's free.
I think
back to unoccupied territory. Sure. And then the 2 brothers, Charlie Sheen and Patrick Swayze, are going to go on one last run.
Yep.
For their dad.
Yeah. Right. Just going to mess up the town. So.
Does it matter? If we tell what happens at the end?
I mean, we can.
At the end, they blow up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
They kill the Special Forces commander that was sent to kill them.
Yeah.
And this whole time, there's this guy we've been tracking, but we haven't been talking about, which is the Cuban commander.
Yes.
Who this whole time has been kind of introspective about what they're doing.
Really get that.
Doing it because he's ordered to,
yeah.
But not really a part of this ideologically, and just kind of wants to go home. And then he sees the 2 boys wounded and trying to make their way out, and he's like, "Let them go."
Yeah, exactly.
Cup a walk. It's all right.
Yeah, right.
And we don't know the fate of the brothers. They are heavily wounded. And,
that's
we
true.
don't know if they're going to make it.
Doesn't
but we
seem
do know
likely.
that a monument is erected.
Uh-huh.
In the future, later.
The
Postman ending. The Postman ending. That says, they fought so that this nation would not be erased from the earth. Because the whole time, everybody was talking about America and how great it was. And we're going to stop these commies. Wait a minute. None of that language is in the movie. Let's talk about this movie.
Yes.
I love your question. What's Red Dawn?
Yeah.
What is it? I found that everyone has tried to hijack this narrative for their own purposes.
Okay.
This movie is like a Rorschach test.
Okay.
For ideologues.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, because you could fight either way.
Ultimately, that this movie is just a movie.
Yeah.
It is steeped.
I agree.
It is steeped in 80s, the 80s version of the Red Scare, 80s Cold War, a paranoia. But it is literally about some kids who take on this fight and what it does to them, and then it ends. That's what it's about.
Yes.
But everybody and their mom has tried to put their own spin on this.
Sure.
From the left and the right. Let me tell you the truth. I've heard a lot of people say things.
Yeah.
But here's the truth about this movie. Yes, John Milius directed it and worked on the screenplay.
And he's
John Milius, a famous conservative. There was a great anecdote about how he accepted this job for $1.25 million and a gun of his choice.
Seriously?
So he is. All the stories that you've heard about him are true, including the contradictory ones, even though many of them do not contradict each other. He is who you think he is. But the script was originally written by Kevin Reynolds, who called it 10 Soldiers, and it was set in the near future, and a Russian-Cuban combined force invaded the U.S., and it was supposed to be, kind of I don't know if it was like a post-Star Wars thing, like he came up with this idea for what if some kids had to defend America, but then Star Wars came out, and it's and they had lasers? I'm just trying to sell this thing.
Oh, right.
But they had these futuristic elements, and everybody thought this has the makings of an art picture, a mid-budget, kind of thinker.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
And apparently at one point Walter Hill wanted to do it. Walter Hill, the Streets of Fire, the Warriors,
I
Southern
can see
Comfort,
right up
48 Hours.
Yeah, right up his alley. Yeah, right.
Frank McRae just knows famous people, and that's how he gets into movies. Not that he's not great.
Yeah.
And so, but he passed on it, and it's weird because it's I can count on 2 hands the amount of movies that Walter Hill passed on.
Right.
That became movies that I like but aren't perfect. But then I look at Walter Hill's output and I go, oh, same thing. Why'd he pass?
Right.
I love Walter Hill, but some of his movies are you almost got it.
Yeah,
almost got it.
Right.
So at that point, they wanted to bring up, Steven Spielberg wanted Kevin Reynolds to direct it because Kevin Reynolds was working on a thing with Spielberg. Spielberg's project with him flopped.
Oh, no.
And then Kevin Reynolds is like, I should lose that number. He's not going to stand up for me. So at this point, they brought Milius on.
Okay.
Here's somebody else they brought on.
Uh-oh.
General Alexander Haig.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
The former U.S. Secretary of State under Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
And Chief of Staff under Nixon and Ford. One of the most notorious, famous warmongers of all time.
Oh,
right?
my God. What?
So, you've got Milius.
Yeah.
He likes his gun. He
Right.
wants to direct it. And apparently, like, he started working with him, and Haig brought some of his, like, military buddies in, and they, like, turned the script upside down.
Uh-huh. I
He apparently took it to, there's a conservative think tank called the Hudson Institute that he brought it to and said, we have literal, like, contingency plans for, like, what the, you know, the commies will do if they try to invade America. Let's put these in the script.
Are you serious?
And this whole time, John Milius, who everybody thinks of as, like, you know, am I the only one here who thinks that John Milius is a guy that wants a gun?
Right.
The whole time, John Milius is like, I just want to direct an action movie. You guys are, like, turning this into U.S. policy.
Yeah, I feel uncomfortable about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is all, look, if you want sources, this is all on Wikipedia. It's all based on what people said. They might have lied. I don't know. But you can find this on the page for Red Dawn.
Wow.
And Milius even said, like, this is going to be like a jingoistic flag-waving movie. Mm-hmm. And it's not like what I'm looking to do.
Right.
But he's, you know, got the money now.
Right.
So he's going to make this film. And so they made it. Milius later said, I see this as an anti-war movie in the sense that if both sides see this movie, it wouldn't have to happen. They would realize, like, you know. Also, you know, a character says this, I think Powers Booth in the movie, Milius says this in an interview, it's good for Americans to see what war would be like. Because they've forgotten.
Right.
Interesting story.
Yeah.
John Milius never was in a war.
Oh, okay.
He really wanted to join. He wanted to go to Vietnam, but he got to asthma.
Oh, no.
He can't go.
Oh, no.
But he's going to like war and guns for the rest of his life.
Oh, fantastic.
And at the end of the development process, the Pentagon withdrew its cooperation from the film. They were not happy with it.
Well, I can understand that because at least with what we got, the military, our side, the American military is not very present.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So, critical reaction. Before I said, anybody will make this whatever they want. Some of the critics were like, it's just a cute little movie about some kids. There's some good action. There's some great explosions in this movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, they got that right.
Yeah.
The New York Times is like, oh, John Milius is back. He's going to blow some stuff up. Thanks, New York Times.
Really well thought out.
Yeah. And then this was the first movie to get a PG-13 rating.
Really?
Yes.
The first one, I thought it was Gremlins.
Gremlins was the cause of it. Gremlins and Temple of Doom were the cause of the PG-13 rating. Oh. This is the first one to actually get one.
Okay.
It's also the first movie that the Guinness Book of World Records certified as having the most violence ever, an act of violence every 2.23 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then,
that tracks.
Sylvester Stallone's like, hold my M60.
Yeah, right.
Hold
exactly.
my bow. Yeah.
I mean, don't you feel like this movie owes something to Rambo, though, in some ways?
Well, Rambo 3 came out after this. Rambo 3 is the Afghanistan one, To Our Brave Brothers in the Mujahideen.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it does. This is like a kiddie Rambo.
I mean, it's like a bunch of kids instead of one guy.
Now, here comes this.
Small town.
Look at this nest of thorns. Here it comes. The National Review Online.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like everybody gets nervous when you say that. Named this number 15 in its list of the best conservative movies.
What?
And then Reason Magazine, they always have these titles, right? It says, the film outraged liberal critics. But further to the left, it had some supporters. Here's evidence of that. Libertarian theorist Murray Rothbard argued that it's not pro-war, it's anti-state. Of course you would say that.
What? I don't see that either.
You're a libertarian. And then take your beak from out my heart, Leon Thomas of Renegade Cut on YouTube completely castigates it as right-wing, pro-war, anti-Russia propaganda to the point where he claims that Milius put all this stuff in and gives no sources at all about it.
No.
You just go to the Wikipedia page. The sources are all listed. Clearly, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to form their own narrative on it.
Yeah, right.
Here's my narrative. Or have I talked too much?
No, go ahead. Give your
I
narrative.
don't know if that's going to be short. My narrative is that, yes, Alexander Haig was involved in this. Yes, the director asked for a gun.
Yeah, it's not looking great.
Yes, we are in the middle of the height of the dramatization of the Cold War. 80s,
yeah.
the Cold War's basically already dead, right? But it's serving, to give us...
It's still going on
red
in some
heat
ways.
and, it's all these other things. All those things are true, but they managed to make a movie about giving worms to ex-girlfriends. They managed to make a movie that is about these characters and manages, in my opinion, to toe the line between whether what they're doing is right or wrong.
They're not 100% sure.
Except for the beginning, which is like, everybody left America alone. I admit that sets us up.
Yeah, right.
And the postman ending where they're
Yes.
like, and they did it, and that was them. They were that little boy.
With the American flag in the background.
Yeah. There is barely any mention of any ideology. These are high school kids.
Yep.
They don't know anything.
No.
They're just out trying to save their town.
Yeah.
And they see, and the enemy literally like kills their father and other townspeople, and so they want to fight him because of that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned very smartly toxic masculinity before. If I don't remember their names, but if Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen had just not gone to the woods and just hung out in town.
Yeah.
And lived under oppression. I'm not saying that it's the best of both worlds.
No.
None of this would ever happen.
No.
Because we don't know what's going on in the war outside. And we're given to understand by the end of the movie, everything worked out.
Yeah, right.
So nothing would have happened.
Yeah.
And throughout the course of their thing, all they do is just kill a bunch of soldiers and make one guy who didn't want to really do it in the first place go, okay, get out of here.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Leah Thompson and the other guy just like leave at the end and like, we're free. We're free because we're out of it. Because we let it put the guns down and we left.
We walked away.
It's not like
only
we're
way
free.
We're free.
So we can go back
America,
and kick those
God
commies,
bless.
Yeah.
No, we have no idea whether they continue fighting or not once they go to New Mexico.
And maybe this movie has a strange voodoo, a strange power, and it makes you see what you want to see. But what I want to see is a character drama about boys who were raised semi-abusively by Harry Dean Stanton to drink deer blood, who think that the only solution to this is to go total war on these guys and to never stop until everybody's dead, which is exactly what they try to do. Even though some people go,
let it turn.
We're good when we leave. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Powers Booth did say about the film that he thought that, and they wanted Robert Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Powers Booth is a better choice.
Yeah.
But he did say about Milius that Milius cut out the emotional parts of the characters. I don't know if I totally agree, but maybe there was more. He said that his character was anti-war.
Oh, okay.
While being, in Powers' words, a rightist. So I guess while being a conservative or a hawk or whatever, like he wanted the war to stop. I feel that in the movie. He feels kind of fed up with it.
He does feel fed up with it.
As he gets involved with the Wolverines and they have success, he gets more ambitious in terms of what he wants to do. And I feel like he represents for these kids an adult who is doing what they're doing and going, you guys are doing okay. He's their war dad. He's the first nod that they've had other than the old guy that lives in the cabin. And ultimately, he is destroyed and gets a couple of them killed because he wants to go farther than what their permit is or their remit is, which is guerrilla fighting in the woods.
Yes.
He becomes a little more like, no, we can do this, and gets people killed. And then they're like, okay, we don't know what we're doing.
And then they pull back. But when they first meet him, he does seem really just over it. And he just, then, but he's like, oh, well, I'm here, so I guess I'll help out. And like they have this whole scene where he plans, he tells everybody the plan,
Yeah, they free everybody from the re-education camp.
Right, because he does have a military background. He is able to think in that way and strategize and everything.
Yeah, at this point, he's just been, this is something that could have been cute, but like, he's not ROTC, right? Patrick Swayze has no military training.
No.
He could have been like calling football plays or something like that.
Right.
We're going to do Blue 32 or whatever.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But we get the idea that he has, a sense of organization and he's a leader. And so
he's definitely a leader.
And so Powers Booth, he bemoaned the fact that his character was supposed to be the voice of reason. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, your character's perfect because you bring them to the crisis where they realize that they are just kids and they can't do this. And then immediately their confidence, breaks.
Right.
And then the one kid sells
They're not
them
sure
out.
if they want to do it.
And the rest of them are, apparently they filmed a love scene between Leah Thompson and Powers Booth and they cut it.
That's weird.
Yeah, that was the right instinct.
Yeah.
But like, she's distraught over that. Patrick Swayze is like, actually, I don't think I know what I'm doing. This whole time we've been doing fine.
Yeah.
Well, if he had been, what would he have been if he was the voice of reason? What would he have been in the film?
Can I say something?
Sure.
I think that he is a little bit the voice of reason still. Maybe not to the extent that he thought that originally, but like there is one point where they're staking out a situation and like there's like, this is right before he gets brutally murdered. There's like tanks and a plane and he's talking to Patrick Swayze and he's like, we could get out of here, man. We could do it. We could leave. So he's almost like trying to talk Swayze into leaving the whole operation and everything.
Yeah.
But then they get caught up with the tanks and he dies.
Yeah.
So it's I do think that
he is here's the thing.
Yeah.
He is a military person. He has a mission. He knows how to fight or to organize, even though he's Air Force. He's not like Army, but whatever.
That's true.
And he talks about, why, because they ask him like, we've been in the woods. What's the war about? Why is this happening? And he essentially says, I don't know. It's, toughest kids on the block. Sooner or later, we're going to find out, who's tougher.
Yeah,
we're
right.
going to fight.
Right.
So he is, he is unsympathetic to the ultimate cause of capitalism versus communism or whatever.
Right.
He is cynical about that, but yet he still is going to win the war. I don't know. I just thought it was a totally balanced, understandable.
I think it is
portrayal,
honestly. And I want to say something too about the toxic masculinity in this because we have
a new word now, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh, okay. I'd like to hear what that is, but
because, toxic masculinity ironically has been poisoned as a term.
Whatever. Okay.
I think it still works.
Anyways, people are constantly told not to cry and to get over people's deaths and everything and loss of any kind.
Yeah. Do we like how C. Thomas Howell went out? Do we think that was a good death and it made sense? No. He was driven to that by the philosophy of the Wolverines, which was, kill them all, let God sort them out, drink this blood, and do whatever. And it's just like... you can't get any. This is Fisher-Price filmmaking. You can't get any clearer than what that is.
And I wanted to talk in particular about Swayze's character because he kind of breaks down towards the end, but his brother kills he can't kill the mayor's kid, but his brother there's something. His brother is kind of like broken.
Yeah.
And
it's not his brother. It's C. Thomas Howell. It's their friend.
Oh, is it C. Thomas Howell?
Charlie Sheen's the brother.
I must have gotten them mixed up. Okay. So anyway,
Charlie Sheen doesn't actually do a whole lot in this movie.
So it's C. Thomas Howell. So then this changes it a little bit, but so it's C. Thomas Howell, and like he, but I think Swayze feels responsible for that turn, and so we see him later and he's crying because he feels like responsible. Like, what have I done to, I haven't protected these kids. I haven't, I've helped corrupt them in a way. And like, he's holding a picture, what I can only assume is of him and his brother.
No, it's him and Daryl.
Is it him and Daryl?
They were friends growing up. But Daryl was not an athlete. He became the student council president, which Leon Thomas would tell you that, like, oh, the president wants to capitulate and intellectuals are weak. Look, I'm not saying I'm willing to accept that in the universe of the film. Like, I don't necessarily immediately shut down over that. I think that is set up as a useful dichotomy to know who is going to get us, who's the protagonist, who's the hero of this, and who is going to be the toady later. You could have made the student president with his organizational skills be the guy who leads them all, and the jock who feels like he's not getting enough attention sells them out to the Russians. I think you could have done that either way.
Yeah.
But this is the way they decided to do that.
Okay.
Because they have to call themselves Wolverines because they're on the football team.
I know. Okay. I guess this was...
It's just like... Please end your point. It's a beautiful point, and I see the end coming, and it's going to be even better than the beginning. But we need to bring this to an end.
Okay. I guess I was a little confused as to which character was which. I thought it was the brother who killed him.
If your beautiful point can still land after confusing yaw and pitch, then bring it home.
I just want to say that it's like... You know, it's like saying that it's like he has to cry, but he's doing it on his own because he's told them not to cry.
He's a traitor to his own thing because his own thing is unrealistic.
It is unrealistic.
He's a human being.
Yes, and I think
and you didn't have to put that scene in, and you're absolutely right.
But I think it's like it's a mirror to an opposite to the whole toxic masculinity
to their
thing.
Upright position.
So yeah,
we have reached the terminal. Good job, you landed it. Here's how we know. There's no better test to know whether this film deserves to survive. Although, let's be totally honest, it is a mid-level action film. It's a mid-budget action film from the 80s with everything that entails.
I honestly
with a
didn't
bit
know
of
what it was.
With something for you to think about. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying this is Casablanca. I'm just saying here's why this is a good and memorable movie. We've got, of course, 2012's Red Dawn, the remake.
Wow.
In which the North Koreans invade America. Chris Hemsworth is a former Marine, so that immediately puts him on one side of the fight or not fight conflict. Mm-hmm. It means nothing for him to organize a resistance because he is literally a military person.
Right.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays the Powers Booth thing. And we talked about the difference between Powers Booth basically, figuratively laying down on top of a grenade to like save the kids and saying, get out of here, versus I haven't seen 2012's Red Dawn. I'm not sure if I could sit through it, but how do you think Jeffrey Dean Morgan dies in that?
Oh, he probably goes out screaming.
Does he first say, don't ever give up?
Probably.
You keep fighting no matter what. And then he goes, ah!
Yeah.
And then gets together and they're like, he did it. Batman's dad did it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That is, Powers Booth threw up in his grave. 2012. Still alive. Threw up wherever he was.
Yeah.
That is completely the opposite of how his character in the first one does.
It is.
So there is a right way to do this. Now, did Leon Thomas get mad about 2012's Red Dawn? What does the National Review think about 2012's Red Dawn?
What do they think?
I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. I'm done talking about it. This is a totally enjoyable movie that gives you something to think about. And you know what The Smoking Gun is? The Smoking Gun is a movie created by conservatives, literally by, the Secretary of Defense or whatever.
Right.
Casts it in its, throughout the run, but definitely in its final moments, a Cuban commander as being like, get out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't part of the revolution. This isn't what I want. Mm-hmm. We're rethinking a lot what we know and what we have been told about Cuba these days and what the revolutionaries were trying to accomplish in Cuba and the way that Cuba is probably because the Soviet Union did a ton of crappy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But the way that Cuba's actions and their position as an enemy, a supposed enemy to the U.S. has been propagandized over the years, and we're starting to learn about the truth of some of that now. Yeah. The fact that John Milius in 1984 could direct a movie where a Cuban guy goes, this isn't right. This
Right.
isn't what I want to fight for. This isn't it at all. Try to tell me that doesn't say something.
I feel like it does.
How did that get through Alexander Haig? How did that get through the caricature of John Milius that people have?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
This movie has not been done on Craft Disservices, but honestly, at 46 for Rotten Tomatoes and 53 for Metacritic, it's right in the zone.
It is in the zone.
So I would love to welcome you back for an episode of Craft Disservices where we just play this section of this show all over again. Would you recommend this movie?
You know what? I would. I think it's, I guess one thing I wanted to say that I didn't get a chance to before is that I do appreciate that when the girls are introduced, there isn't a whole lot of like, girls can't fight. What is this? You have no business. They're just given a gun and they're taught how to do it just like everybody else. And I appreciate that.
In fact, there's one moment where Charlie Sheen, who's a character that is not like the most heroic character, he's not the guy that we are looking to to see how these people act, is like, hey, wash these dishes. Yeah, and then right away, something. Jennifer Grey, I think maybe it's Leah Thompson.
I think it's Leah Thompson.
Is like, you wash the dishes. I'm not going to wash these dishes. You know, we can do all this stuff too. Give me a gun.
Yeah, right.
And then she becomes Caroline in the Shooty.
Yeah, right.
Glad I got that Caroline joke in there.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the show. Had fun. Good one.
Yeah.
Started off sad. Remains sad.
Yeah.
And will hurt going forward.
Yeah.
But hopefully we got some good stuff out at the end there. And if you haven't seen Red Dawn, you can do it. It's on HBO. I don't have a link that will get us paid, but enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
But you can pay us by going to our Patreon, patreon.com/JustEnoughTrope. Yes. Also, we often include links in the show notes to things that would help us out. If you want to buy something on Amazon, you can click through our links. You can click through, you can actually bookmark our links and use it as a bookmark to just click through. And then whatever you buy, it helps us out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We got a banner, you click through the banner, shop away. A little bit of that comes back to us. Keeps the light for freedom and democracy lit.
Amen.
Right here.
Yeah.
And so we'd appreciate that. We'd also appreciate if you come and hang with us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we've got a Discord, and come talk with us. Tell us what you think about Red Dawn.
Yeah.
I've learned this.
Yeah, what's that?
It's charged.
I can believe that.
Politically as a discussion topic, but I just think it's a cool movie, and I can watch it without those goggles, but maybe tell me to put the goggles on.
Yeah. Well, and I guess...
Tell me to change the lenses in the goggles.
Maybe this goes without saying, but make sure you watch the 1984 version and not the 2012
Tell me
version.
or watch the 2012 for us and tell us how it is.
Yeah, right.
We've got to defend all of our people in these... that was more like
I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, that wasn't really Australian.
Yeah.
It's tough to do an Australian person pretending to be an American person.
It is.
God, Chris Hemsworth does it well. So follow us there. Also, go to your listening platform of choice and subscribe to the show. That is important. That's the way that the computers know that you like us. To that end, give us a rating. Let us know how you think we're doing with a review.
Yes.
Give us 5 cups of blood.
Oh, God.
It wasn't a prank. I think maybe if they had just been like, no, don't really do it. Jesus, we're just...
Yeah, right.
It's a prank, bro.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, no, that's it. Now you're part of the thing. You did it.
Yeah, and then Charlie Sheen's like, our dad said that there's something different about you now. He points to do that. It's like, okay.
Right.
This is... People...
Leon Thomas watches that and throws up.
Yeah.
The National Review watches that and gets hard. I watch that and go, this is weird, right? We all think that this is weird. And I feel like the movie also kind of knows that it's weird. Like we're seeing like how these boys have been raised, and they were raised weird.
But I mean, I wonder, like, are there hunters that do that? That is so weird.
It's a Native American thing, right?
Okay.
That's what dancing, all of my cultural education comes from Dances with Wolves and films like it.
Oh, my goodness.
So we don't want to do that. Give us 5 stars instead.
Yes.
We'll be back next week to talk about something else. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.